My name is Megan. I'm 93 years old, and I spent 427 days in a place I was never supposed to leave. I'm going to tell you what happens inside a nursing home, and how I got out, eventually. It wasn't easy. But before that, you need to understand how I got there. Because nobody wakes up one morning and decides to give up their home. It happens in pieces, and by the time you realize what's happening, the paperwork is already signed. I lived alone for 16 years after Lloyd died. Did fine. I'm not saying it was easy. The house was too big for one person. 4 bedrooms, just me and the cat. But I managed. I kept my shop going until I was 84, still taking in hems and alterations. Kept the house clean enough, kept myself fed, had a system. Then I fell. I was reaching for a can of soup on the top shelf, cream of mushroom, I still remember, and my knee just gave out. Went down on my hip. Lay there on the kitchen floor for, maybe an hour before I got myself to the phone. My son David came, took me to the hospital. Bruised hip, nothing broken. But something shifted after that. Not in my body, in how my children looked at me. That look. You know the one. The look that says we need to have a conversation. David and my daughter Linda started coming over more, which was nice at first. Then I noticed they were checking things, opening my fridge, looking at expiration dates, counting my pills, testing the smoke detectors. One afternoon, Linda moved my laundry detergent from the top shelf to the bottom shelf without asking. Small thing, but I understood what it meant. She was rearranging my house like I was already gone. The conversation happened on a Sunday, both of them at my kitchen table. David had a folder, an actual folder with brochures and printouts and a spreadsheet of costs. They'd been researching. "Mom, we found a really nice place. It's called Ridgeview. It's 20 minutes away. They have activities, a garden. You'd have your own room." I said, "No." Linda started crying. David said, "Mom, we can't keep worrying like this. What if you fall again and nobody finds you?" I said I'd get one of those medical alert buttons. I'd be careful. I'd call every morning so they'd know I was alive. I had a whole list of arguments. But here's what nobody tells you about this conversation. It isn't really a conversation. The decision is already made before they sit down. The brochures are already printed. The deposit is already discussed. They're not asking your permission. They're just managing your reaction. I moved in on a Tuesday in March, 2022. Packed 1 suitcase and a box of photographs. Left behind 51 years of living in that house. My sewing machine, Lloyd's recliner, the garden I planted in 1988, 14 steps from my bed to the kitchen window. That's what I was leaving. I'd counted them 1,000 times. At Ridgeview, it was 6 steps from my bed to the door, and the door had a code. Breakfast was at 7:15. I've never eaten breakfast before 9 in my life. 70 years of making my own coffee at my own pace, and now a woman named Denise is putting a tray in front of me at 7:15 with eggs I didn't ask for. Medication at 8. Lunch at 11:45. Activities at 2. Dinner at 5. Lights encouraged off by 9. Encouraged. That's their word. What it means is someone knocks on your door if your light is still on. "Mrs. Whitfield, everything okay in there?" Yes, I'm reading. Just checking. You stop being a person. You become a schedule. And you walk down the hallway to that dining room every morning, and the smell hits you. Industrial cleaner and something underneath it. Something human that the cleaner can't quite reach. After 3 weeks, you stop noticing. That's the dangerous part. When you stop noticing, it means you've started to accept it. You've started to belong there. I sat at the same table every meal with 3 other women. Most of the nurses were decent people, overworked, underpaid, doing their best. There was one aide named Carla who would sit with me sometimes after her shift. Just sit. Didn't have to. She'd ask me about Lloyd, about my shop. She treated me like a person, not a patient. But Carla was one person in a building of 120 residents and a staff that rotated so often I stopped learning names. Some weeks I had a different aide every single day. Monday, a stranger helps you shower. Tuesday, a different stranger. Wednesday, someone new again. You're 90 years old, and a person you met 11 minutes ago is helping you undress, and you're supposed to be grateful for this. Even the best version of this system, it still processes you. That's what it's built to do. One of the women at my table was Marjorie, 87, been there 4 years. Bright woman, used to teach high school English. When I met her, she could still quote Shakespeare. 2 months later, she was asking me what day it was. Every morning. "What day is it, Megan?" I watched her disappear. Not from disease. I mean, yes, she had some memory issues, but she was sharper when she came in. The place didn't help her. It gave her a room, a schedule, a pill, and nothing to be. No purpose. No reason to remember what day it was. Another woman at my table, Helen, 91, been there 6 years. She told me something one night in the common room after everyone else had gone back to their rooms. She said, "Megan, you know what the worst part is? It isn't the food. It isn't the schedule. It's that nobody needs me for anything. I wake up and nothing depends on me being awake. Nothing depends on me being awake." I wrote that sentence on a piece of paper and put it in my nightstand. Looked at it every morning. I kept counting. 47 ceiling tiles in my room, 6 steps to the door, 3 minutes between when I pressed my call button and when someone came. On good days. On bad days, 11. I almost stopped counting after Helen said that. Almost stopped caring about the numbers. But then something happened on day 312 that I didn't expect. My granddaughter Keely came to visit. She's 34. Tough girl. Doesn't cry easy. She sat in my room looking around, at the linoleum floor, the adjustable bed, the whiteboard on the wall with my name and the date written in marker. She said, "Grandma, do you want to leave?" I said, "Keely, I've wanted to leave since the 2nd week." "Then we're getting you out." I told her it wasn't that simple. Where would I go? David and Linda both agreed this was the safest option. I'd need help at home. She said, "We'll figure it out. But you're not dying in here. Now." Keely is not a doctor. She's not a social worker. She's a woman with a laptop and stubbornness. And it still took her 3 months. 3 months of phone calls and dead ends and programs with wait lists, and David telling her, Keely, you don't understand Mom's medical situation. And Linda saying, maybe we should just let things be. But she kept going, and she found something nobody had told us about. A county aging program that matched seniors with part-time aides. 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, covered by Medicaid and my supplemental insurance. Not fancy, not a luxury. A basic program that had been sitting there the entire time. Nobody mentioned it. Not David, not Linda, not the social worker at Ridgeview who was supposed to help me transition. Because the system doesn't advertise alternatives. The system advertises beds. Keely also found a woman named Diane, recently retired, living alone 4 blocks from my house. Diane didn't need money. She needed company, needed purpose. Keely worked out a deal. Diane comes over every morning, has coffee with me, makes sure I've eaten, stays until the aide arrives. In exchange, I'm teaching her to sew. She's terrible at it, but she's learning. The day I came home, I stood in my kitchen and counted. 14 steps from my bed to the window, same as before. Everything was dusty. The garden was overgrown. The faucet still dripped the way it always did. I stood there and cried, not because I was sad, because I was Megan again. I'm not telling you this, some people need that level of care. Families get handed one option, and they take it because nobody shows them what else exists. County programs, shared housing, companion arrangements, part-time aid coverage that costs a fraction of what a facility charges. These things are out there, but you have to go looking because nobody is going to come looking for you. If you have a parent in a facility right now, go visit them. Not on Sunday with flowers, on a Tuesday at 7:15 in the morning. See what breakfast looks like. Count the staff on the floor. Ask your mother if she knows what day it is, and watch whether she cares about the answer. I'm 93. I lived in that place for 427 days. I got out. And every morning now, Diane shows up at 8:30 and we drink coffee, and she shows me her terrible stitching, and I laugh. And the cat sits between us like nothing ever happened.